Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. It's Mitchell Reds here from Chat Sports, and today I'm going to look at 5 things that better flippin' happen up against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to think about what happened in Week 1 in a big-time win against the Broncos. We also have to look at that tape from Week 2 against Buffalo and think, if the Raiders don't do these 5 things, not only am I going to get upset, not only are you all going to get upset, but worse off, they're probably going to end up losing this football game. This is the home opener at Allegiant Stadium for 2023. The Steelers are 1-1. The Raiders are 1-1. Pittsburgh had a wild Monday Night Football game. The defense is going to be there. The Raiders defense needs to show up also, though. To make sure that you don't miss all of our live shows this entire week and for their whole season, we're going to be live every single Monday and Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. And then we're going to be live every Thursday night for Thursday Night Football. Thirsty Thursday, we like to let our hair down, have a good time. That's the schedule. And then live on Sunday, Raiders, Steelers, watch party. Make sure you're here and make sure that you're partying with Raider Nation. Raider Nation, what's going on? Today's show presented by Panda Supps. If anybody out there needs an awesome supplement that you got to get your hands on, I want you to use code FOCUS at pandasupps.com for 25% off their nootropics. If you don't know what nootropics are, it is the easiest way to wake up your mind. If you're having that 3 o'clock crash, take a scoop of nootropics. Before I go live on a show, I take a scoop of nootropics. If you're a gamer, if you're a student trying to study, take a scoop of nootropics. It's going to wake you up. It's going to lock in your mind, and it's down below. Pandasupps.com. Use code FOCUS for 25% off. The first thing that the Raiders better do against the Pittsburgh Steelers, this might be the biggest one. The Raiders better learn how to make adjustments offensively and defensively. You saw it last season. You've already seen it this season. In the first game and especially in the second game. Raiders had a beautiful touchdown drive to open up the game against Buffalo. You're up 7-0, and then you get outscored 38-3. Why? And I think one of the reasons why Raider fans are so frustrated with this coaching staff is because how are you so incapable of making adjustments during the game? Right now, offensively, Raiders points by quarter. I think it's one of the easiest graphics to show that tells the entire story, and I don't got to sit up here and yell. The Raiders this season, 7 points in the first quarter. They're tied for 5th most. In the second quarter, they're tied for 28th. They have yet to score in the third quarter, and if you follow McDaniels, the third quarter has been the issue his entire coaching existence. Tied for last, and then in the fourth quarter, you're tied for 26th. So essentially what happens is teams see what the Raiders are trying to do in the first drive, see what they're trying to do in the first quarter, they make adjustments, and then the Raiders just simply don't have an answer. If you want to be taken seriously as a head coach, you got to start making some actual corrections offensively and defensively if this team's going to win some games. So I'm not just talking about McDaniels here. I'm talking about the entire coaching staff as a whole. Head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, the entire unit. I want you to grade the Raiders coaching staff so far this season, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down in the comments. My grade so far for this Raiders coaching staff is a C. And I already see, for those of you watching live, a bunch of Fs. To me, I'm not going to give this team an F. Yeah, the game in Week 2 is probably an F. But I do think, based off what I saw in Denver, that they're going to be able to go out there and compete here and there. So for that reason, I'm going to give the Raiders coaching staff a C grade. Let's go to the second thing that better happen up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Raiders better blitz, and they better get pressure on Kenny Pickett. I want to rip my hair out when I watch a game like that Buffalo game where the Raiders just go, okay, we're just going to run the same exact defensive setup over and over and over again. We're going to bring 4 players. We're going to bring 3. And if Josh Allen has 4, 5, 6 seconds to sit back there and throw, oh, well. Oh, we gave up 38 points. Oh, well, this was the game plan that we had. We're not going to go away from it. That makes me want to bash my head off this table over and over and over again. We know that Max Crosby can be an elite player. I need more out of Tyree Wilson. We need more out of Malcolm Kuntz. We especially need more out of our defensive tackle unit. If you want to bring some blitzes with corners, great. You want to bring a safety blitz? Let's do it. You want to bring your middle linebackers on a blitz? because Divine Diablo and Robert Spillane have played very well this season. I want an athlete out on the field. Maybe you need to activate Amari Burney. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know who's going to step up. But I would rather the Raiders play press man, bring some pressure, try to get in the face of Kenny Pickett, and trust your secondary to be able to win some one-on-ones up against Pittsburgh instead of you just bringing 3 or 4, dropping back 7 and 8, and then having a quarterback sit back there all day and pick you apart. That's very frustrating, and the Raiders are going to get picked apart this entire season unless they start making some adjustments and unless they start trying to get after the freaking quarterback, because Kenny Pickett will make mistakes. But, man, you got to get after him. Now, again, y'all, today's show was presented by Panda Supps. Huge shout-out to them. They've been a sponsor here on the Raiders Report for a very, very long time. And if you haven't already, go check out the product that I'm talking about. Jeremy's going to put it down in the comments and down in the description of the show right now. You can go to pandasupps.com, use code FOCUS for 25% off. Personally, I know sometimes people are like, oh, coffee doesn't wake me up, or I don't want to do an energy drink. I don't know what it is, but Nootropics formula, Focus here from Panda, it's going to get you locked in. The Raiders need to focus this week to come away with a W, and I'm telling you right now, I'm taking some of this out to Las Vegas, and if you have that crash in the middle of the day, or you're trying to party with Jeremy and I late at night, you take a scoop of that, and it wakes up your mind. It wakes up your head. It doesn't give you that sluggish feel that sometimes caffeine can do. It is and I say this all the time, it reminds me of Adderall. Like, it really does. It locks you the F in, and it is an unbelievable supplement. So please, go try it out. Use code FOCUS at pandasupps.com for 25% off. It's owned by a Raider fan. We show love to our own, and I know Mayor Bob would really appreciate it. Let's go to the third thing that better frickin' happen against Pittsburgh. Jimmy Garoppolo has to take some deep shots. I know Chugs and I are going to be taking lots of shots this weekend when we're partying in Vegas, but Jimmy, you got to take some deep shots, man. I'm not saying it only sits here and falls on Garoppolo's shoulders. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that if the Raiders want to be taken seriously and it's going to help out their running game, sometimes you got to take a shot deep. Sometimes you just got to take it. Shoot or shoot. And even if you miss, you got to show defenses that you are willing to try to throw the football down the field. Because when you look at right now yards per attempt, the Raiders are actually doing okay at 7.7 yards per attempt. But it's the ability to throw the ball down the field. And right now, Jimmy Garoppolo, and maybe it's not so much of a fun fact, but Jimmy G is tied for last in 20-plus yard completions this season, 4, and he has yet to complete a ball over 40 yards this season, which is also dead last. I get McDaniels wants to have this offensive concept of intermediate routes, this and that. The offensive line's doing a good job, and because the offensive line has done a good job, just take some shots down the field. If Trey Tucker is cooking, don't go away from him, right? Like, throw a ball down the field. You have athletes. You have players. You're going to have Devontae this week. You're going to have Jacoby Myers this week. Trey Tucker has the ability to stretch the field. I get that, Jimmy and McDaniels want to dink and dunk, but you got to throw the ball down the field. That's going to open it up for your running game, which is something that you desperately need to do right now. So speaking of Jimmy Garoppolo, okay, what is your confidence level in Jimmy G? I want you to scale it from 1 to 100. 1 being you're not confident at all, and I mean at all. 100, this is the guy that we need. I see David Zahn's typing 60, and to be real with you, it's kind of where I'm at right now in Mr. Jimmy G. Let's go to the next name here, the next thing that needs to happen in Week 3. The running game's got to figure it the F out. I'm frustrated with the defense, but if there was one thing that I am just super I don't know what to think of it, it might be the running game, because Josh Jacobs last season leads the NFL in rushing, 340 carries, 1,653 yards, 2,000 yards of total offense. If I would have told you what's the one thing that you'd probably be willing to bet on succeeding, I probably would have put some money on Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams offensively. I mean, right now the Raiders are bottom 3 in the NFL in terms of rushing yards per game. 58 rushing yards per game. And they better thank Trey Tucker last week for that 34-yard rush, or else I think the Raiders might be dead last in this statistic. Another statistic that they're bottom 2 in here is rushing average per attempt. 2.6 yards per carry. 2.6 yards per carry, and you have Josh Jacobs as your flipping running back. I get it. He looks a little bit slower, and this is also on you, Josh. You got to be better. You got a better vision. You didn't show up in as good a shape as what you should have showed up in. The Raiders' run blocking line needs to get their damn chemistry going. But again, imagine if Trey Tucker doesn't have a 34-yard rush. You're dead last in the NFL in rushing yards per game. And if you're going to be dead last in rushing, you have the wrong quarterback. Like, the Raiders offensively, with an offensive guru and Josh McDaniels, they might want to get close to hitting that panic button. Because if their running game doesn't get going and you got a QB that can't throw the ball over 40 yards, it's going to be a long season. You better buckle up and you better get ready for it, or else it's going to be a lot of L's coming at you. We still got one more thing that absolutely positively needs to happen up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if it doesn't, it's probably going to be a loss on Sunday Night Football. But hey, if you're going to be out in Vegas this weekend, party with Jeremy and I on Saturday. We're going to be hanging out with the Blackout Division. We're going to black out the home opener. Not only are Chugs and I blacking out, but hopefully y'all are blacking out with us here. Go to blackoutdivision.com. That link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments and in the description. It's a free party. Free party. It's going to be the biggest Raiders party in Las Vegas. I'm going to say that again. It's going to be the biggest Raiders party in Las Vegas on Saturday night. And it's free to go to. There's going to be food. There's going to be drinks. Tons. Hundreds. We're getting close to 1,000 RSVPs. But it's free. So all you got to do is RSVP right now at blackoutdivision.com. If you want to see myself, Chug, some other Raiders content creators at the Win in Las Vegas, maybe you're doing something, not doing anything early in the day on Saturday, at 11 a.m., we're going to be doing an interview with Marquette King. There's also a pool party. There's tons and tons of events. I got to really tip my cap to the Blackout Division, Graphic Raider Cody. And if you guys want Sunday, they're also going to be taking a party bus to the game. So use code Raiders Report for $10 off your party bus tickets. I mean, from the moment you land in Las Vegas, if you want, man, we can be partying it up. Sunday, Chugs and I won't be there, but Saturday, you can hang out with us. But if you're really planning on going to the game, keep the party going, this is where you need to be with the Blackout Division. Code Raiders Report for $10 off your party bus tickets. Let's go to the final thing that better happen this week against Pittsburgh. The Raiders better have Nesta Jade Silvera on the field. And I can't sit up here and guarantee that he's going to play well. I can't. But what do you have to lose? Like, if your defensive tackles were playing well, sure. I might be able to make an argument that it's a little bit too early to roll out the rookie. But at this point, man, I need to see something different. I don't want to keep on seeing these older players like a John Jenkins and Adam Butler. Like, at this point, I would rather see Nesta Jade Silvera on the field than Jerry Tillery. I know what Jerry Tillery is at this point. Jerry Tillery was terrible to finish the season last year. Why not see what you have in a young rookie that at times this offseason looked pretty damn good, even in the preseason, during joint practices, OTAs, minicamp, training camp. Nesta Jade Silvera was a name that time and time again we heard very good things about, and then you saw very good things during preseason. So guess what? I want to see him in action, in a game. What do you have to freaking lose? Those are the 5 things that I better see this game up against Pittsburgh. So how about this? I want you to name one thing that you want to see happen against the Steelers. There can be a lot of different options, right? Like, I want to see the Raiders blitz more because I know that right now there's been a lot of teams in the NFL, right, throughout history. Right now the Raiders are giving up a completion percentage of 81.7%. That is the worst in NFL history through the first 2 games. You know why? Because the quarterbacks sit back there and they're picking you apart. We can't have that happen. That is something that I desperately want to see from this team. Martin got it right, a win. I knew somebody was going to say it. You're right. The only thing that I really, truly want to see on Sunday against the Steelers is a win. I want to see focus on running the ball from Husker Raider. Nate Hobbs lock down George Pickens from Condor. I want to see fans show up to the game and don't sell their tickets from Young. Jimmy G taking deep shots from Juan Hernandez. Adjustments from Nick. We all want to see something. Here's your opportunity right now to go down to the comments and tell me the one thing that you want to see happen on Sunday.